All right, hopefully everyone's been following along because this is now section 6 of my music collection. I've got so much to share. It takes me a video to get through each row, so be it, that's okay. We get all the time in the world. This is the other two. Now, when New Order split up, the singer went off and started electronic. The bass player went off and did something else called Monaco. And so people are probably like, well, what about the other two? Well, I really appreciated seeing them split up like that, because then you see what happens, see who's who in the zoo here. And yeah, these two get together. They're more like electronic. It seems like when they do their instrumentals, it's like Steve Morris. Like I could tell I wonder if he listens to like industrial music and stuff like this. I got some Anthony Papa. I'm not sure if that's my favorite there. This album I really love the shit out of it, and then this one's okay. So that's coming from the like the trance scene. Let's see, Penelith. So I knew them personally. So that's Wesley and his brother. So when I lived in Denver, when I was making friends, these are one of the guys that lived down there. And I don't have anything by Black Cell, but so I met a few people in Denver that are trying to do their own thing. Pixies. So one of the few things I have like this, more of a punk band. Really like this album though, very much so. Plateau. That's Kevin Key of Skinny Puppy. Very good. He's very psychedelic, man. I think that if anything, he's all about smoking pot and tripping balls, man. He is my kind of people. So I kind of had a pet peeve for a while. I found out a lot of people in the goth industrial scene are a bunch of coke sniffing fashion snobs. I think people need to start smoking pot and tripping platypus. So, Beginner's Guide definitely has that a lot of I guess basic sounding music on there, so definitely beginners. Polygon Window is Aphex Twin. I've had more of that. This is definitely this was something I loved to listen to a ton of. So I've got a little Iggy Pop in my collection. Something I take from my dad. I heard a lot of this growing up. Really interesting man. So I believe I got some, okay, this looks like another Iggy Pop. So I haven't had a chance to really listen to some of the stuff since it's been gifted to me. So I'm just like, what have I got? So we've got Popovo, City Ragad. This is the first one I got, like, after I moved to Denver. A lot of neat stuff on there, Don't know how to explain these guys. It's all like a nicer playing style. It's not like industrial music. Almost like Tangerine Dreamish. Protect, that's another Bill Lieb of Frontline Assembly. So everyone, I think Frontline Assembly was his first thing. He was part of Skinny Puppy, but we think of Bill Lieb, we think of Frontline Assembly. Protect is when he does some of the techno stuff with less vocals on it. So I really love it when he does that. Thank you for all those different kinds of techno. Psychic TV, now that was the singer from Throbbing Gristle. So when they split off, you had him going with Psychic TV. Then you had Chris and Cozy doing their own thing. They were very much industrial all the way. They just did their own thing. Then they went on to doing more electronic and techno sound stuff. Well, these guys went on to do more like an acid house thing. And then the other guy, Peter Christopherson, went off and did Coil, which I don't have any of, which I would if I had a more complete collection. So I really appreciate this. So these guys are big on tripping on acid, so you got to understand, I kind of associate this music scene with the Beat Generation because, these guys are real proud that they have good friends like Timothy Leary as well as good friends like William Burroughs. So this is a psychedelic intellectual counterculture here. So the thing is industrial music is like the electronic equivalent to punk. So, and as Val puts it, also more intelligent. So Rabbit in the Moon. So this is more from the the more the ravey gravy, more ravey gravy. Some of this is really great, and some of this is ravey gravy. So, yeah, he's kind of deep and psychedelic. Really appreciate some of the tracks on here. Really great on that decade. Could really get into that. So there's Lou Reed. I happen to have some Lou Reed in my collection. See, I don't listen to the rock and roll punk as much. You notice I listen to electronic stuff more. So Sandoz, so that's Richard Kirk, and that right there should tell you what a psychedelic man Richard Kirk is. Sandoz is the laboratory where LSD was discovered. So Sasha and John Digweed, this is where I started. Not that particular record. Not that particular record. I bought these later. I think I started more with like either this one or this one. And so that's when I first started getting into like the trance, you know, the DJ stuff. Otherwise, I was like a DJ hater. I thought, you know, these people just play music. What makes them so special? Well, what makes them special is they have an ear for music and they bring it to your attention. They go do all that hunting and gathering for you. So that's what makes a DJ special, especially if they're also a songwriter and a producer. So he's not just a DJ, he writes music. They write music. So anyways, well, let me put those back in their slot. Now, so here's some more roots. So this is more like the modern, for me, like late 90s, early 2000s. So I think this is some Klaus Schulze here. This is more like the 70s electronic. So, let's see, what did he call this one? And trance, you know? So this is like 70s trance, you know? This is my dad's trance music. Transfer. So it was like trance music with no percussion in it. So let's see here. Klaus Schulze. So, yeah, so that's like my dad's trance tech now. So he doesn't really like the newer stuff as much, you know? He's really persnickety. He doesn't like anything to be fake or commercial. He really hates the club scene. I think that was another. Oh, that's Dave Seaman. So he's part of that scene with John Digweed and all those guys. But when we go into Skinny Puppy here, we've got quite a number. Let's see, that's actually that looks like a Severed Heads record right there. So Severed Heads, The Shaman. All right, so then we're going to show you my Skinny Puppy. Skinny Puppy. Now, when I mentioned earlier, and my dad discovered these guys, I think around 1989. They were in the cutouts, and he was saying he'd heard of these guys. And I said, oh, they're probably going to be it's probably going to suck. I mean, their name just sounded cheesy to me. And I feel so bad saying that now because they actually turned out to be one of the best bands like this. It's kind of amazing. And I have a lot of praise to say about Kevin Key as an artist, but I like when Kevin Key went off alone. I don't really like when Ogre went off alone and did his own thing. So Kevin Key is my favorite. And of course, his partner that died was probably a big contributor, but I can't think of his name as much. So Kevin Key's the one who I think of. I knew this guy personally. He used to work at the record store on Colfax. I can't even think of what they're called now, but they had a used record store. His name was Steve. I spent a lot of time going in there and selling out music and buying used stuff and exploring Space-Time Continuum. I think these guys were kind of part of the Intelligent Electronica stuff, kind of like Wax Trax was promoting. Very good psychedelic. And then they had Space-Time Continuum with Terence McKenna. That's a very good lecture. He's an expert on psychedelics, particularly ancient psychedelic culture. Now, SBK, these guys are like one of the first industrial bands, like pure industrial music, and some of it's very deep. I mean, some of it's just sound like, you know, oh, this just is noise. Not all of it. Some of it's very intelligent, very intricate. And then when they moved forward with it, they were getting more like dance electronica. So this guy's good. This is definitely one of my favorite bands. So I'm going to stop this section here. We're now ending section 6, and I will be back for section number 7. See you then.